which other ringless star quarterbacks are bound to eventually join the championship club?
Is Jared Goff, in your opinion, now a guy who can win a Super Bowl?
I think he is.
Which ones will go down as all-time greats like Dan Marino and Phillip Rivers? Well, today, here are 5 NFL QBs who will win a Super Bowl in the next 10 years, and 5 who won't. Will win Joe Burrow. We know. The Cincinnati Bengals followed up consecutive AFC Championship game appearances with 2 straight non-playoff seasons. But come on, are we really going to sleep on the guy with winning head-to-head records against Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen? The only active quarterback to beat Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs in the AFC title game? No, of course not. Burrow is a top 5 quarterback in the game, but we will happily argue that Patrick Mahomes is the only QB with a greater clutch gene in big moments. Dude only has 2 fewer playoff wins than Josh Allen and 6 fewer postseason games played, by the way. You just can't teach the it factor. You either have the ice in your veins or you don't. Burrow knows a thing or two about winning in big games, with a national championship in his final year at LSU and a trip to Super Bowl 56 in his first healthy NFL season. The Chiefs are still the kings of the AFC, but the Bengals are the one team that plays them without any fear. We would argue that they're more likely to win multiple Super Bowls than to win none at all. Burrow's time is a-comin'. Eventually, these Bengals will break through with the franchise's first ever championship. Won't win Dak Prescott. As long as Jerry Jones keeps calling the shots, Dallas won't win another Super Bowl. You can feel sorry for Prescott, who probably deserves better after being stuck with Jason Garrett and Mike McCarthy of all guys as his head coaches. Oh, and did we mention Jerry's a terrible GM too? Then again, nobody told Dak that he had to sign 2 long-term contract extensions with Dallas over a 3-year period. If only he could put loyalty aside and realize that Jones will unintentionally do everything in his power in order to prevent Dallas from winning it all. Love or hate Dak, this much is clear. He plays like a top 5 quarterback when he's on his game. On other days, he's this era's Tony Romo, the very man he succeeded in Big D nearly a decade ago. Prescott's underwhelming postseason appearance aren't the only issues, though. The Cowboys' defense has always had a bad habit of choking in the postseason. The offensive line has been shaky for a while now. The ground game is not what it used to be, and we are still waiting for Jones to find a capable number 2 receiver to help CeeDee Lamb. If only they ever had a guy like Amari Cooper, huh? Will win Jared Goff. Goff's best chance at a Super Bowl thus far came in his 3rd NFL season, when the Los Angeles Rams fell to Tom Brady's dynastic New England Patriots in Super Bowl 53. That was supposed to be a big learning experience for the number 1 pick of 2016, but Sean McVay and the Rams would snap him out for Matthew Stafford in an all-time blockbuster deal just 2 seasons later. Stafford completed the Rams' Super Bowl mission in his first year on the West Coast. Goff has enjoyed his best football for Dan Campbell's squad and helped turn Detroit into an NFC heavyweight, but so far, no cigar. The Lions lost to the San Francisco 49ers in the 2023 NFC Championship game after coughing up a 17-point lead. A year later, they finished as the NFC's number 1 seed, but were crushed by the Washington Commanders in the divisional round. But let's not put the choker label on Goff and the Lions just yet. Remember, they were decimated by injuries on the defensive side of the ball in 2024. There's just too much talent on the Lions. They're too well coached to disappoint again and again and again in the playoffs. We know that Lions fans are sick of waiting after nearly 70 years of misery, but believe us, a Super Bowl is within their grasp. It's only a matter of time now until Goff leads the Lions to their first Super Bowl championship. Won't win Baker Mayfield. Mayfield has been a feel-good story during his tenure with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I mean, nobody paid much attention when he signed a 1-year deal in 2023 free agency following Tom Brady's retirement. But Mayfield has since shredded the bust label by enjoying a career year in 2023, and by helping the Bucs to a surprise NFC South Division crown. And proving that it was no fluke, Mayfield was even better in 2024 by setting career highs with 4,500 passing yards and 41 touchdowns. But unfortunately for Mayfield, the long-term outlook in Tampa Bay isn't exactly promising. And as nice as those NFC South Division title banners look at Raymond James Stadium, winning the NFC South these days is not exactly an accomplishment. The problem for Mayfield is that the Bucs don't have many long-term cornerstone players. Mike Evans will be 32 next next year. Todd Bowles' defense has been getting worse and worse each year since their Super Bowl 55 championship run too. Mayfield, Evans, and running back Bucky Irving can't carry this operation on their own, and eventually their NFC South foes will catch up if they keep compiling early selections in the first round. It's also just hard to trust a mediocre Bucs team to win the NFC over the likes of the Lions, Philadelphia Eagles, Green Bay Packers, Los Angeles Rams, San Francisco 49ers, Minnesota Vikings, and Washington Commanders. Look, add it all up, and the obstacle in the NFC for Mayfield and the Bucs are just too much to overcome. Will win? Jordan Love. The Packers failed to take a step forward in 2024 after a surprise run to the Elite Eight a year ago, but let's not throw in the towel on Jordan Love already. There's no shame to losing to the superior Eagles in the wildcard round, and do you really think that the Lions and Vikings will finish with 15 and 14 wins in the same year again? No, absolutely not. The Packers were a great team in a historically great division in 2024. They had a top 10 scoring offense and defense. Love, Josh Jacobs, Jaden Reed, Rashawn Gary, Devontae Wyatt, and Edgar Cooper are a tremendous foundation to build around, with plenty of room for GM Brian Gutekunst to add more talent. Love has displayed a remarkable ability to handle the pressure, as evidenced by him masterfully succeeding Aaron Rodgers in Titletown. As long as Love and the Packers' core players continue to improve, the long-awaited 5th Lombardi Trophy will come to Green Bay within the next decade. Won't win? Tua Tagovailoa. The number 5 pick of 2020 deserves plenty of credit for making the Dolphins relevant after a mostly uneventful 2010s decade for the franchise. 4 winning seasons and 2 playoff appearances to begin your career is no joke. But Tagovailoa is not at all set up nicely to compete for a Super Bowl in the short term or in the long term. For starters, we all have serious questions about his long-term playing future and durability due to the concerning amount of concussions that he suffered in his young career. It feels like Tagovailoa is one more concussion away from retiring, and honestly, nobody would blame him for that. However, even if he does stay healthy for the next 5 to 10 years, we're still not exactly optimistic about Miami's Super Bowl chances. Tyreek Hill relies far too much on his speed, and he showed signs of decline in 2024. The Dolphins' O-line is still pretty shaky, and the defense lacks elite young talent outside of Jalen Phillips and Chop Robinson. Playing in the AFC East with Josh Allen's Buffalo Bills will always be a problem, and that's to say nothing of other top conference contenders like the Chiefs, Bengals, Baltimore Ravens, Houston Texans, or Los Angeles Chargers. Add it all up, and it is practically impossible to envision a Super Bowl celebration for Tua and the Dolphins. Will win? Jayden Daniels. Do we really need to say much more? Daniels had, in our eyes, the greatest rookie season in NFL history, if you take the postseason into account. The number 2 pick of 2024 single-handedly saved the long-suffering Washington Commanders franchise in year 1, leading them to 12 wins and the franchise's first NFC Championship game appearance since 1991. Daniels completed 69% of pass attempts for 3,568 yards, 25 touchdowns, and just 9 interceptions to go along with 891 rushing yards and 6 rushing scores. Daniels led Washington to a thrilling win over Baker's Bucs in the wildcard round, then embarrassed the top-seeded Lions on their home turf to set up the NFC title game showdown with the Eagles. No, Washington wasn't much of a challenge as the Eagles cruised to a 55-23 victory. But you know, the Eagles are a battle-tested team full of veteran stars in win-now mode. The Commanders had no big game experience and are just entering their window of opportunity now. Daniels is the real deal who only gets better when the pressure grows. Dan Quinn is a top-tier head coach. Adam Peters is already 10 times better than any GM Washington employed in the Dan Snyder era. And since Snyder isn't here to ruin the party anymore, Commanders fans needn't worry about 2024 just being a flash in the pan. Won't win? Kyler Murray. As hard as it is to believe, Murray has now completed 6 seasons in the NFL. And truth be told, the Cardinals aren't any closer to a Super Bowl now than when they drafted him first overall in 2019. You can blame former head coach Cliff Kingsbury and a lackluster Arizona defense for wasting Murray's early years all you want, but Murray has never been a consistently great quarterback. Look up hot and cold in a sports dictionary and you're gonna see his picture. Fans know all about the Cardinals' ugly habit of unraveling in the second half, and that hasn't changed since Kingsbury's firing, as Arizona dropped 5 of their final games in 2024 under Jonathan Gannon to miss out on the playoffs for a 3rd straight year. The Bidwell family ownership seems pretty content with mediocrity. Arizona will always be in that 7 to 10 win range with Murray. Their O-line stinks, and the defense is always a mess. Murray's limitations as a passer mean that he can't elevate his team the way that guys like Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, and Patrick Mahomes can. So, yeah, Murray is just not the guy who's bringing Arizona its first Super Bowl championship. I think we have seen enough at this point to confidently make that statement. Carry on. Will win? Josh Allen. Most of us can agree that Josh Allen is probably the best active ringless quarterback. It's honestly unbelievable how much bad luck he has experienced in the postseason. The 13-second game, wide right 2, the 4th and inches QB sneak that wasn't in the 2024 AFC title game, name it. The Bills' constant postseason shortcomings in the Allen-Sean McDermott era have drawn comparisons to Jim Kelly's 90s Bills. That squad went to 4 straight Super Bowls and lost them all, never tasting championship glory despite constant regular season success. But you know, we have the more optimistic view here. Allen is too freaking good, and McDermott is too damn good of a coach. There is no way that Buffalo keeps going home empty-handed. His last 3 playoff losses were against Patrick Mahomes' Chiefs, and they were all decided by a single score. The law of averages means that he is due to get the big bounces eventually. Won't win? Lamar Jackson. His team is great in the regular season and all, but the playoffs have been a whole nother story. But such is life when Mahomes' Chiefs, Burrow's Bengals, and Allen's Bills are all in your way. The math says that between these 4 quarterbacks, all being in each other's way each year, one of them will not ever touch the Super Bowl. And we're gonna wager Jackson, given his concerning habit of underperforming in the playoffs each year, is gonna be drawn the short straw. Derrick Henry, the team's second most important player, isn't getting any younger. And if you want to ask Cam Newton, Russell Wilson, and Michael Vick, you know, dual threat QBs like Jackson, they'll tell you that they wear down much earlier than pocket passers. Love you, Lamar, but you've already blown the best chances that you'll ever have at a Super Bowl. But which other NFL quarterbacks will win a Super Bowl in the next 10 years, and which ones won't? Is there any notable names that we may have missed? Let us know in the comment section below. If you like this video and learned a thing or two, clicking the like button helps us out a ton. And you know, we really appreciate it. If this is your first time coming around to TPS though, then subscribing is a great idea, because we put out videos like this every single day. But as always, thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.